And a very warm welcome to you. It is the dawning of a new era, a new blue era. My name is Tonshi Prusats, and I'm your host for DinamoTV, the official podcast of the St. Albans Dinamo Football Club. And, history is being made, folks, tonight. And we welcome all supporters, players, coaches, parents, members, everyone who is involved with the Dinamo football family, and indeed anyone who is not, who is tuning in. Well, you're our dear visitors, and we certainly appreciate you being here tonight. What a show have we got planned for you folks tonight? It is going to be absolutely huge. And if you think my face is familiar to you, probably right, because you've probably seen some of our shows that we produce: Football Out West Show, the Oz Crows Soccer Show, and indeed the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Well, this year, DinamoTV, that's become the newest kid on the block, the newest member of our ever-expanding family, and it is an absolute pleasure to be a part of this show. And first of all, I need to shout out, a public shout out to everyone involved at St. Albans Dinamo for the faith and the courage that they've shown. And this new institution, this new podcast, is testament to that boldness, I guess. So tonight, as a reward for you folks, we've got some absolutely fantastic guests. We're going to have a huge array of guests, and we're going to be talking to the Vice-President of Dinamo, John Bilos. He'll be telling us everything that's been happening behind the scenes. There's been a lot happening behind the scenes in the off season as well. We'll be talking to MARKO BUTORAC, one of, I believe, 9 members of the organising committee of the Australian Croatian Soccer Tournament, which Dinamo will be hosting later this year in September and early October. Live crossover to Lakeside Stadium. We'll be catching up with Jason XERRI, the football operations manager, who's now entering his 10th year of service here at our beloved club. That is amazing. I think he's due now for long service leave after this season. And certainly last but not least, we've got another visitor to Melbourne, Adam Portage. He's the CEO and the founder of the Magic Group, a Gold Coast-based football organisation, of which Dinamo is an affiliate. And he's down here for the Magic Football Tournament, or the Youth Football Tournament. We'll be talking to him a little bit later on in the show. But we've also got lots to catch up on from the weekend's I&D Victorian Crow Cup, and that's going to be happening shortly after this break, folks. Don't go away. Welcome back, and it's an absolute pleasure, as I said, to be here with you today. On the weekend, the season unofficially kicked off with the now traditional I&D Victorian Croatian Cup, which was hosted by our club there at Churchill Reserve. Now, prior to the seniors game kicking off up in the VIP room, all the club presidents got together, including, obviously, our club president, Ilija Dragicevic, who addressed the small gathering. And also we heard a couple of words from our major sponsor, and the major sponsor of all the other big four Croatian clubs, IVAN FILIPOVIC from I&D Group. Have a listen to what Ilija and Ivan had to say on the day.
Hello to everyone, and welcome to the 2024 Crow Cup. Thank you to all the presidents of our Croatian clubs and our major sponsor, Ivan Filipovic and Kathy, for being here today and joining us for lunch, and hopefully the best teams win. Ivan, please, over to you. The I&D Cup is now a few years, not a few, probably 10 or so.
Yes, yeah.
And it's a big part of the calendar in the Croatian community in Melbourne. And I think we all really appreciate your and Kathy's contribution to our community from day one and now and beyond in the future. So
thank you.
Thank you for being generous as a family. The I&D Group and the Filipovic family do a lot of good things for our community.
Notice, thank you.
Thank you, Ivan.
I will say something. I think it's good tradition. It's good to club get together and stick together. You know, it's Croatian community. It's not getting bigger. It's getting smaller, and I think we need to support each other. And every club should work together. and I wish all best for the season. Thank you.
To all our clubs, all the victories, and this year and beyond, and to all the presidents, good luck with all the hard work you've got ahead of yourselves. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
There we go. That was what we heard just prior to the big game. Now let's go through the results that involved Dinamo's games on the weekend, and there we go. There we have it up on the screen. The under-14 boys. Let's start off with them. A good 3-1 win over the Melbourne Knights. Dante Casalo and Christian Pete scored for the Modri. Under-15 boys lost to a very strong Dandenong City, 1-0. The under-16 boys lost to an equally strong North Geelong, 1-2, with Lucas Hanania scoring Dinamo's only goal. Then it was the turn of the under-18 boys, and we saw a good victory there against the Melbourne Knights. A very slender win, a 1-0 win. Jackson Knežević was the goal scorer of that lone goal. Then it was the under-23s. They came up against the Melbourne Knights, and in a very high-scoring affair. It was 3-4, but not in favour of Dinamo. It was in favour of the Knights. And there was some highlights during the week on our Facebook page. Nicholas Murray scoring a great goal. Now, before we start asking questions, no relation to Frogger Murray, the famous Damien Murray, but young Nicholas hails from Shepparton, I'm told. Close season signing. Jesse Chop, Luka Chabraya were the other goal scorers. And then in the seniors, it was a very eventful 2-2 draw. Dinamo came up against a very youthful North Geelong side, but also as a chance for coach RYAN McGUFFIE to also play some of the youngsters there as well. Ivan Razumic and Michael Grgic scoring those goals. Let's take a look at the extended highlights from that game. There we go, conceding a late goal, and the final score was 2-2. Coach Ryan McGuffie wouldn't have been too happy about that, conceding a goal practically in the last minute. I had an opportunity to catch up with Ryan straight after the game, and this is what he had to say immediately post-match.
It was a good hit out in terms of our boys kept the ball. I think we retained a lot of possession, but first half we moved the ball pretty quickly and we created a lot of chances. The second half we were just a bit slow with the ball speed, and I think that's what let them get close to us. Although I think we still dominated the game. Obviously we were playing against a young North Geelong team. But yeah, I'm disappointed in the result, to be honest. Even though it's pre-season, I still want to get in a habit of winning games. So I'm disappointed with the result, but there's a lot of positives to be taken from the game.
What's the next step now as far as the pre-season? What's next week? What's ahead now?
Yeah, so we train again on Tuesday, where we'll do our cool down and we'll work on a few things structurally. And then Thursday we're playing against South Melbourne, and then we've got camp next Saturday.
And finally, DinamoTV, as a new feature for the club, a new innovation. Must be pretty excited about the fact we'll be featuring the boys week in, week out.
Yeah, it's good. It gives the club a bit of publicity and it puts us in the public eye. So yeah, it's a good thing for the club.
There we go. That's Ryan McGuffie, the St Albans coach after the game. Okay, if we take a look at the scores, or the standings, if you like, the overall points tally. Melbourne Knights in 4th position with 4 points. Dinamo in 3rd position with 7. North Geelong Warriors in 2nd position. There they ended up with 11 points. And then we have the champions, Dandenong City, with 18 points. Congratulations to Dandenong City taking out the 2024 Crow Cup in convincing fashion too as well. Folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. The numbers are absolutely astounding already, so keep jumping on. Add a comment or two in the chat section as well. Who are some of the guests you'd like to see appear in upcoming episodes of DinamoTV? Or were you at the I&D Crow Cup on the weekend? What were some of your favourite moments as well? Or if you're over at Lakeside Stadium, do drop us a line in the chat. We will be crossing over there shortly. We'll be speaking to Jason XERRI, who is the football operations manager. He'll give us a progress score as well for all of those of you who are at home. But in the meantime, it's time for our first guest, and we're going to take a very short break. When we do return, it is going to be the Vice-President of Dinamo St Albans, John Bilos, with whom I caught up with earlier today. Welcome back to DinamoTV, and it is my absolute pleasure now to welcome our first guest to our inaugural episode of DinamoTV, the official podcast of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club. And we're going right to the top. We're going to the very, very top, and we're going to be talking to the Vice President of the club, John Bilos. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome John to the inaugural episode of DinamoTV. Good evening, John. How are you? And like I said, welcome to what is the dawning of a new era.
Glad to be here. And yeah, how you going? All good?
Yeah, good, mate. A little bit nervous. It's our very, very first episode. So far, so good. But, mate, DinamoTV, one of the few clubs in Victoria to have their own official weekly podcast. What's your take on all of this?
Super excited. Obviously, firstly, welcome on board, don't you? You know, when we first approached you and we asked you to jump on board and be our media manager, we were super excited that you were keen to join us. So, firstly, welcome to Dinamo, obviously.
Well, thank you very much for that warm welcome, and as you know, it is an absolute pleasure. Just in this short time that we've been together, I guess that we've achieved so much. And we're going to be achieving so much more. Now, speaking of achieving so much, in the off-season, a lot has happened at the club. And obviously, a lot of the members, the supporters, they wouldn't be aware of exactly what is going on behind the scenes. But would you like to bring all our members, all our supporters, or our fans, our players, our coaches, look, the Dinamo family in general, bring us up to speed with what's been happening down at Churchill Reserve in the off-season?
Yeah, I mean, lots have been going on, especially with, with any club at the moment. You're probably looking at things like, your coaching staff, your football operations area, making sure that you got all that in place, with coaches, support staff, assistant coaches, physios, etc. So that's pretty important to us. Obviously, even before that, you're looking at after the AGM, where we've got a solid committee on board, and then obviously the work starts from there. Looking at our mini roos, looking at our MPL boys, making sure that everything's in place, to put their squads together, hoping that they do really well in that area. And then it's obviously things like sponsors, meeting weekly with the committee with regards to merchandise, all that type of stuff that has to be done before the season starts. So it is a really busy time for us. But yeah, hopefully we've put all the measures in place to have a successful 2024 and beyond.
Yeah, mate. Look, it is a big gig, and everyone sort of thinks it's during the season that all the work's done, but in reality, and all committee members and all committees will tell you a lot of that work has to be done in the off season. But I guess the off season sort of came to an unofficial end last Sunday. Last Sunday we saw the traditional I&D Group's Victorian Crow Cup. We saw footage of it prior to this. To this interview, some of our president Ilya Dragicevic there, the sponsor, our major sponsor IVAN FILIPOVIC, and that was released by on our Facebook page during the week as well. But how did it all go? It seemed to be like a cracking sort of a day.
Yeah, no, it's great to get all the clubs together. Obviously, it took us 4 days of planning to get it together, but sometimes amazes me what the club can achieve in such a little time. But how good is it getting the 4 big clubs, Croatian clubs, at a soccer tournament, Dinamo, where you can see old friends. We can feel each other out with regards to where our clubs are at.
Yeah.
On the field, which is awesome. But yeah, it's just having a chop, having a drink, meeting up with old friends. It started at 5:30, I think it was, and finished at 11 in our gold members area. So an awesome day, and for our club and for our community.
Now, John, you were there. You were upstairs in the VIP room, I guess, when Ivan Filipovic made that little short speech. Short, but geez, what a message, eh? Telling all the Croatian clubs we need to stick together, we need to work together. I really liked what he actually said. The Croatian community's not getting bigger. In fact, it's getting smaller. So we really, off the field, need to be working a lot closer together. And that just sent shivers up and down my spine and goosebumps. It was really quite an inspirational, like I said, short but very inspirational message.
Yeah, for sure, Ivan and Carter. I mean, what supporters of the Croatian community? Can you ask for anyone better? I don't think you can. I mean, they've been supporting our club for 10 years, the Crow Cup for 10 years. So what a family, what a legacy. Great man.
Now, let's return back to off-field matters. 2024, what's in the pipeline? Have we got any major infrastructure projects down at Churchill Reserve or in the near future? Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, look at our master plan committee that we put together probably 2 years ago with, I suppose, the major parties, the redevelopment of Churchill Reserve. So I'm not sure if you've seen the plans, Taunchy, but it's next level. So it's taking our club to the next level here in Victoria. Maybe not in Victoria, maybe Australia. So that's super exciting. The plans are almost there. So now we've got to work with stakeholders and see if we can get this across the line.
Yeah, well, hopefully in an upcoming episode of DinamoTV, we might be able to show some more of these plans and what is planned afoot off the field. What about on-field matters, John? What will be the main focus regarding the various teams, and not just the senior team, I guess, but filtering down to the juniors, the women's, the academies, all of that. What's in store for 2024 for the Dinamo family?
Yeah, I think like every club, I think you want to see progression, you want to see improvement across all teams. We've put Nikola Markovsky in as TD or as football director, as you know it these days. So obviously it starts with the juniors. At any club, you have to get the junior system right to progress and get the senior system right. So, our mini roos, our NPL boys, our girls, our junior girls, we've hit, I think, 80 registered junior girls at the club for season 2024, which is awesome. And obviously we're still looking for some senior girls who are interested, so come on board and join the club. But then you've got under 23s, hoping that they can improve. They just missed out on finals last year, so we're hoping that they can take a step further this year. And obviously with our senior team, which is important to us, we're almost finalised our squad. Massive hit out this week against South Melbourne, so that'll be a test for us. And then the boys are lucky enough to go away on their pre-season trip this weekend to hopefully bond and get that formula together that winning formula together to see us make sure that we have a good 2024 season, I suppose.
Yeah. Now, later on in the show, in the inaugural episode of DinamoTV, we'll be crossing live, speaking of South Melbourne, over to Lakeside Stadium. And we'll be catching up with the man who's due for long service. It's his 10th year at the club as football ops manager, Jason XERRI. Jason will be coming to us live from Lakeside a little bit later on, and he'll be telling us the latest score and what is happening there. And he might even tell us a little bit about what awaits the senior squad as they go to Bendigo this weekend. But a little bit later on in the show, also we'll be catching up with MARKO BUTORAC, who's a member of the organising committee of the Australian Croatian Soccer Tournament, which we are hosting later this year in late September. Most people know what the Australian Croatian Soccer Tournament is. It's huge. It's the greatest show on earth after the World Cup. And we're hosting it this year. We'll talk to Marko about the ins and outs of what's the latest things happening with regards to that. But John, what does hosting this tournament mean for Dinamo and the Dinamo family?
It means a lot to us. It means a lot to any Croatian club hosting a tourney, and especially with the Savas as a jubilee, so 50 years. Which is another massive achievement. So to be a part of that, let alone just hosting the tourney, is massive. It means a lot to our club. It means that we as a committee can't solely focus on the tourney, and we've put together a tourney committee, like you said, with Marko leading the way in that regard. So. We do catch up with the tourney committee and just see where they're at. But they're doing awesome things. It's looking really, it's looking promising. So super excited to have it, and hopefully we can bring on a great event here in Victoria or at Dinamo.
How exciting! Geez, it's going to be a big year. 2024 is going to be a massive year, and it's the league season kicks off in 2-3 weeks' time. Obviously, then the NPL boys juniors as well kicks off then, and then the rest of the community teams, the senior women's team, that'll all kick off in March. But John, look, on behalf of the board, what would you like to say to all the players, the coaches, the families, members, and supporters of the club? Basically, what's your New Year's message to the club?
That's a big one. I suppose to the players, and to our members. It's. I want to see, everyone play for this badge. Yeah, that means so much to us. Yeah, so sometimes it might be a job, but it's not a job for us. It's playing for the club. So I really feel that passion needs to come back to our club. if that makes any sense. But
Yeah.
For our members, I mean, come with us and be on this journey, and hopefully, we can keep improving and have another successful 2024 season and beyond.
Yeah, well, DinamoTV isn't the only innovation at Churchill Reserve this year. There's going to be lots of exciting things happening this year, culminating in what we just talked about, the Australian-Croatian Soccer Tournament. And after this very, very short break, we'll be talking to MARKO BUTORAC, who's one of, I think, about 9 members of the organising committee. And then you've got the subcommittees and that. We've got an entire army of people behind the scenes, and we'll find out exactly what is happening with regards to the Australian-Croatian Soccer Tournament. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming Gorspic Bears anniversary as well next month, because Marko was, and he's still heavily involved in that, one of the clubs that falls under the banner of the Dinamo Group, if you like. It's an entire micro community within a community at Churchill Reserve. And John, we thank you so much for being a part of our inaugural episode.
Yeah, no, just one final thing. I forgot to mention the festival or the Lunar New Year down at Alfreda Street on Sunday. So we've got a marquee down at Alfreda Street on Sunday. So yeah, come and say hello. We'll be selling our famous jalapa rolls with a soft drink. There'll be no alcohol there, unfortunately, but yeah, come down and say hello. There'll be some senior women there. The committee will be there, so come and say hello. Grab a roll, grab a drink, and yeah, we'll see you at Alfreda Street.
Oh, sounds good, mate. Oh, good old Alfreda Street, the days of Crystal Records, and it's certainly changed these days and what you're not. But Machuk's travel agency, and it was like mini Croatia back then, but it's a little bit different. But the Croatian flavour returns to Alfreda Street this Sunday, and we'll have some exclusive footage on next week's episode of DinamoTV, so we look forward to that. But John, once again, thank you so much for being a part of this week's inaugural episode. Great to have you on board.
Awesome, thank you. And finally, Mismo Dinamo, yeah.
That's our catch cry, Mismo Dinamo. Bye-bye. That was John Bilos, the Vice President of St. Albans Dinamo Football Club. Great to kick off our cavalcade of guests for tonight with the Vice President. We're going to take a very short break, folks. When we do return, we'll be speaking to MARKO BUTORAC, one of the members of the organising committee of the upcoming Australian-Croatian Soccer Tournament. Folks, don't go away. And welcome back to DinamoTV. As we said, what a great way to start the first episode with an interview with John Bilos, a real gentleman of a fella. And like he said, in next week's episode of DinamoTV, we will have some footage, behind-the-scenes footage of the Lunar Festival and the Dinamo stand there and their chavape. Yeah, chavape at a Chinese New Year. There you go. Can only happen in multicultural Australia. Speaking of next week as well, we're going to let you in on a little secret. We will also have some behind-the-scenes videos of the inner sanctum of the seniors' dressing room, if you like, for want of a better word. We'll find out what I mean by that in a very, very shortly when we cross over to Lakeside Stadium, where, as we speak, Dinamo are taking on South Melbourne, Hellas, in a pre-season hit-out, pre-season friendly. Football operations manager Jason XERRI is there on the spot, and he'll be coming to us very shortly. But in the meantime, it's time for our second guest. And folks, as you know, late last year, Dinamo was awarded the hosting rights for the 2024 Australian-Croatian Soccer Tournament. And we've almost immediately an organising committee was set up to start planning for what is a massive show. And you certainly do need 12 months of planning. And joining us here today is a member of the organising committee, Mr. MARKO BUTORAC, an old friend of mine, and I'm sure he's an old friend of yours because he's very, very well known down at Churchill Reserve. Budo, good to have you on the DinamoTV podcast. How are you?
Donchi, good evening guests, and well done to everyone that's behind the scenes that got this up and running. So it's great for Dinamo and a great initiative.
Yeah,
and great to be part of the inaugural show.
Absolutely, mate.
People in 30 years' time will look back at the first episode and what a joy it is to be on it.
They will indeed, mate. But it's a big year for Dinamo this year. Obviously, we've got the DinamoTV podcast. That's great. Hopefully, the seniors, when they take to the NPL field, they won't be struggling like they did last year and previous years. They'll be doing a lot better. We're sure of that. But it all culminates later this year with the Australian Croatian Soccer Tournament. When exactly is it? What are the exact dates?
Yeah, so we're locked in for the traditional weekend of tourney. So this year it's the 3rd to the 6th of October. So the traditional weekend is that second or that last weekend of the school holidays for us Victorians. It is the week after the AFL Grand Final, but for our interstate friends, it does still run on the NRL Grand Final weekend. So yeah, it's that traditional early October period, and the last time Dinamo hosted was 1990, so it's been a long time. In 2000, hosted in 1990 and 2000. Was fortunate enough to actually play in that tournament for. I guess we were a pub team. We were the Dom FC, Footscray Dom, and my memories of the 1990 Dinamo tourney, that was my first tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I was 8 years old. Dad took me to the Sunday final, and Dinamo bet Melbourne Knights that sunny Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, mate. We go a long way back. You and I. We've been on the Sarves committee together. We've back in a previous life when I was at the Croatian Herald, I dealt with you quite often. With various football clubs that you're involved in. We'll talk a bit about that later. But it's an event like this requires a lot of work, a lot of helpers. And let's start off with the organising committee. Who else is on the organising committee, and how are you guys structured? Is there a chairperson, or is there just people that are responsible for individual departments? Here's a chance to sort of give the organisers a plug.
Yeah, you posted that photo from the Dinamo end of season presentation night. We had 1,000 people at Sunshine Centre, and Zapršić boys were there that night. The announcement was made, and soon after, there was a small team of us that were meeting and part of the bid process. And then post that, we met with the Dinamo committee. And then we created we call ourselves the Super Nine. And so that's myself. I look after the gala, marketing, social media. Danny Jutriša is looking after food and beverage and liquor licensing. Ante Rosanic, who's looking after infrastructure, and also our second base, which will be Keilor Wolves, which is only a 6-minute drive from Dinamo. Carl Reich from Wednesday Nights is involved with infrastructure as well, and also merchandise. Susie Illich, she's got a great team, subcommittee with her. She's looking after the Friday ladies' lunch and also family entertainment throughout the weekend, in particular Sunday. Ante Dragovic, who's our linchpin and our money man and our accountant, and Ante will keep us in line with what we can and can't purchase. Dane Duganjic, who's been a star, creating all our collateral, doing a lot of behind the scenes with infrastructure, a little bit of a jack of all trades at the moment. Matt Shakic as well. Matt's our key entertainment man, already chatting with a lot of the local bands and musical acts, and we've got a couple of things that I won't announce tonight, but we will throughout the year. Matt's also looking after the Friday night and the Sunday, and then we've got Daniela and / her husband Rob. They come as a pair, so we're a Super 9 plus 1. And they're both in charge of a mammoth task of recruiting volunteers. And then, so that's our core 9, and we're catching up regularly. And then we have subcommittees. So the core 9 have brought people in to support their roles. Or we've also got, the likes of Ivan Mioch, who's looking after liquor license, and others that have joined and supporting the wider group. So it's we're strategic as well to keep people who weren't already on the Dinamo committee, because we understand the mammoth task that it does take to the Dinamo committee don't stop, and I see that as soon as the season stops, they're already recruiting and trials and merchandise and registration. So the Dinamo committee are focused on running the club, and we're assigned and supported by them. And we're reporting up, and in particular, John Bilos and Ilya, and keeping the committee afloat of what's happening.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, look, as you mentioned, it's just such a big team required. And look, the weekend itself is such a massive weekend, but you kind of sort of touched on a few things that there could be announcements made, and I'm sure there's going to be announcements made right from now until September. But the weekend itself, what's it going to look like in 2024?
Yeah, we I think we're fortunate coming out of COVID. Sydney was the first one off the back of COVID, and Adelaide as well last year. We've got some great resources there. We've got data, and so we caught up with the Savas after the announcement. We're able to chat through the last couple of tournaments and the wins and challenges. We have a great resource in Stella Spoljard, who also was heading up or part of the organising committee at Adelaide. Stella was fantastic and shared some great insight into Adelaide, and previous tournaments have already shared with us some of the stats. And it's really important, us as a community, and to your point of Ivan Filipovic and us working together, and we intend to kind of pass on all this data to the next successful tournament as well. But off the back of recent tournaments, and we've all been to different tournaments and have experience, but the weekend will actually kick off on Wednesday night, and that'll kick off at IND Melbourne in our Footscray Dome. The kitchen will be open on the Wednesday night, and we'll encourage any interstate supporters who are in town, who might fly in on the Wednesday night, to head down to the Dome, and there'll be some live music there as well. And then we'll kick things off on the Thursday at the club. There'll be breakfast available every day at Dinamo. Thursday, the 2 grounds will open up, so Dinamo being the main host, and our second facility at Keilor Wolves. There'll be food, music, drinks, things for the kids across the weekend. The Friday night is a big one. We won't make that announcement just yet, Tonchi. Matt Shakic has been working hard in the background to secure a pretty impressive venue. The challenge for us at Dinamo, and I guess the luxury of some of the previous hosts, had been that they've been able to host the Friday night at their own facility, at their own ground, King Tom being one, and Adelaide as well. And we made a pretty clear decision early on that we didn't want to risk that, also with the issues around our neighbours at Dinamo. So we made the decision to take it off site, and we'll make that announcement in due course. We kick off the Friday and we go into Saturday. Again, there'll be football likely at both grounds, and then we'll wrap up our second venue, and all the traffic will be at Dinamo on the Saturday afternoon. And then we move into the Saturday night, where we're chatting with a well-known venue at the moment. And again, we'll make those announcements throughout the year once that's all shored up. Then we move into a big Sunday, some beautiful weather. We're praying for it on the Sunday, but we are also making contingencies at Dinamo if the weather isn't kind to us. And again, Matt's tasked with a big closing party, so we're all looking forward to that. So big weekend plan, I guess, for us and Dinamo. For those that have been to Dinamo, we're known by the community as being hospitable. So food is really important. Not waiting long lines, making sure there's a lot of volunteers around at the bars. we want to try some different things from a food point of view, and we're really going to support local community. And we're going to run a Sunday market as part of the Sunday festivities. We'll also have some kids entertainment, and Dinamo as a precinct will look very different. So for those that have used to traditional Dinamo, we're, obviously with the amount of people that we need to facilitate, and the Thursday night and the Friday are our peak times, we need to make sure that there's enough bars and food and seating, all the things that we're accustomed to at tourneys. So Dinamo is going to look very different, and we want it to be that way. We don't want it to be just a regular day, a regular Sunday afternoon or weekend at tournament. We want this to be memorable. We haven't hosted since 2000, so we want to make a lasting impression.
Well, I tell you what, mate, the year's just started and we can barely wait for end of September. I tell you what, we're going to put a slide up on where we are calling for volunteers. Join us. We're known as the Dinamo Blue Crew, and there it is. So to register your interest, click on the job form link at the tournament social media platforms on Facebook, on the Facebook page, CST50 Melbourne, or there it is. There's the link, form.jobform.com / and there's all those numbers. Dare I say, just take a screenshot of that. I'll leave it there for a little bit longer so you can take a screenshot and you can just click on that link, or like I said, go on the Facebook page, CST50 Melbourne Dinamo 2024. And you will be able to pop your name down. How many volunteers have we got at the moment, and roughly how many will we need? Are we, sort of 50% of the way there, 75? Are we, how many more members will we need, Budo?
It's a big team, Tonchi. And just a note for those watching, we'll post the link in in this video chat as well. So Danielle and Rob have been tasked with the early recruitment. They've also got a team behind them. We had a bit of a soft launch, but we launched the tournament on our socials, and we used one of Dinamo's friendly games against Dandy late in December, on the 20th of December. And we used it as an opportunity to get some people down at the club and start registration. So we're just shy of 100 Blue Crew, which is pretty impressive, pretty incredible. And we estimate up to 250 to 300 volunteers are required. And that's based off previous tournament data, and also based off the infrastructure, the areas that we need. Obviously, any time that we set up another kitchen or a food station, that obviously means, a certain amount of shifts. So there is a science behind it. There's a formula as well. And once we settle on the logistics and what our layout looks like, we'll be able to shore up those exact numbers. So as you've just said as well, we encourage you to sign up. If you can only do a Friday or a Saturday, or you're not even sure, jump on the link. There's a few options. Those that are holding an RSA and that can serve liquor, please join. If you're interested in working a bar but you don't have your RSA, we're going to create those opportunities later in the year. And if you do have a special skill, if you're like me and work in the events industry, part of a volunteers group or whatever that might be, drop us a line. If you've got a certain skill and want to help out throughout the year, we are looking for people that are skilled. We're looking for the right people. We can't just take everyone. It is someone that can work within our committee as well. But we are open to Dinamo's got an incredible network, Tonchi, across Gorspich Bears, Wednesday nights, Vukovar, the junior committee are massive. The senior committee, and John touched on as well, is quite stable, and that's shows stability as well. And it really shows that this is Dinamo's time, and we're ready to host an incredible tournament.
No, it should be absolutely fantastic, Budo. Fantastic news to hear. The excitement factor is going up, but we're only 1/3 of the way as far as getting volunteers, so we do need to attract many, many more volunteers. All right, we're going to leave it there. But before we do, mate, we've got a big event. You mentioned one of the parts of the Dinamo family, the community, if you like, and that is the Gospic Bears, a club that's, well, you helped co-found, I believe. And there's a big event coming up in February at Dinamo. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I've been involved in some way with the Gospic Bears for the last 20 years, and having been one of the co-founders, 20 years ago now, I did actually put my hand up to help out with the 20th gala night, and we're doing a massive. Thanks, Tonch. We're doing a gala night at Dinamo, so we want to be able to support Dinamo, our hosts as well. We only have a couple of tables left, which is a fantastic result. We've got a lot of former players, current players. We'll have a Q&A on the night with some former players. We're doing a big tombola as well. And it's just a night to get together and celebrate what has been a successful and a memorable, and me personally, a memorable 20 years with the Bears. And the stories of people meeting at Motel Night and getting married and having kids, and the connections and the friends that we've made interstate, overseas, Canada, America, and Germany, is pretty special. So, the Saturday the 24th will be a great celebration. So get in touch with the Bears through the socials, through me as well if you want to book a table. But yeah, we're down to about 4 or 5 tables left.
Hurry, folks. The number there to call Marco is 0422 115 649, and with tickets, adults just $80, which these days is quite cheap for gala events, and pensioners and youth just $60. Do make sure you get in very, very quickly. Budo, once again, thanks heaps. We look forward to having you or someone else from the organising committee on in the next few maybe weeks or months to give us an update. But in the meantime, you've got your hands full both with the tournament and the Gospic Bears event next month.
Thanks, Toji. Mismo Dinamo.
Mismo Dinamo. All right, folks. Well, we're probably on the other side of the halftime break. We're going to cross over to Lakeside Stadium, where Jason XERRI, the football ops manager, is patiently awaiting his time to come on DinamoTV. Don't go away, folks. We're crossing live over to Lakeside Stadium, and football operations manager Jason XERRI is coming to us live from the pre-season friendly. Jason, how are you doing?
Very well, Tonchi. How are you?
Very good, mate. Well, first of all, mate, congratulations on 10 years at Dinamo. That's an incredible achievement. Are you going to be taking your long service leave during the season or after the season has finished?
I think after the season, mate. I think after there's a bit too much to do in between. So
yeah.
It's been a memorable 10 years, quite enjoyable and quite privileged to be involved with a club like Dinamo.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that a bit later on. But, mate, give us a progress score. You're at Lakeside Stadium. The game has, kicked off? It's about, half an hour into the game, the pre-season friendly. How are things travelling there?
Yeah, we've played about 35 minutes. We're 1-0 down. We're playing against a very, very strong wind. It's probably one of the strongest winds I've seen here at Lakeside. But, overall, we're playing reasonably well. Obviously a bit of experimentation going on today with the squad and trying people in different areas, and a couple of new boys are playing their first game today. So, it's be interesting to see how we finish up at the end.
Yeah, we saw some highlights, some extended highlights from the game played on Sunday against North Geelong, sister club North Geelong in the I&D Cup. Tell us a little bit about the pre-season, how things have gone. Have we signed any players? Are we able to announce that now, or are we going to leave that later? Or how's the squad looking overall under Coach McGuffie?
Yeah, look, there's been some changes throughout the season. Throughout the pre-season, another bit of a transition this year with some new faces again, which we'll be announcing over the next week and a half or so. Some exciting players that we've brought on board, and the team's looking quite good at this stage of the quite deep into pre-season now with only a few weeks before the round one. It's been quite stable. I guess these pre-season games are about experimenting and trying to get it all to gel and work well, and trying to sort of implement a philosophy. So Guff and Donners have been working really hard on that, and the players have been quite receptive. We've got some experienced players that have come on board, and some youngsters that we've been promoted throughout from our under-23s as well. So a really nice blend of youth and experience, which should see us, in good stead for the next couple of seasons, especially with these younger boys coming through. It's always exciting at this time of the year, and you're always excited about looking forward to the season ahead. But generally speaking, it's really liking what I see so far.
Yeah, on the weekend, speaking to reserves coach, or the under-23s coach, Adam Tenanini, he mentioned something like 5 players have stepped up and started training with the seniors. So that's a really good indicator of how, the younger players, they've got that opportunity to really step up if they're good enough and if they're prepared to put in all the hard work. From now until the season starting, which is Saturday, February the 10th, when we travel away to Port Melbourne, there's not that much time left. What's on the plans? What's on the cards for the senior team as far as the rest of the pre-season campaign?
Yeah, so we've got a couple more games to go in the next 2 weeks. We've got Werribee next week, and I believe Western Suburbs the week after, which should see the pre-season hit-outs done. We may try to fit something else in between. We've got our annual pre-season retreat or camp on the weekend, which is always quite exciting. It's a real, time where we all sit down and get together and really knuckle out what the plans are for 2024. As you can appreciate, you're assembling a squad throughout the pre-season, and you don't get everyone at the same time, unfortunately. That's just the nature of the game. But it's an opportunity for everyone to get together and really focus on the task ahead. And I've been doing this for a fair while now, and you usually find once we do that, once the camp sits and it's all done and dusted, you just see a shift in everything with what's going on with the squad, and the head changes in regards to it's really game time as far as they go. And so look. So we're off to Bendigo on Saturday for a couple of days, and then back to the training track on Monday, and we've got to head out against Werribee, I believe, on Wednesday next week.
Yeah, no, awesome. As we've mentioned about next week, DinamoTV, that we'll be having some footage from the Lunar Festival, and Dinamo will be there present at the Chinese New Year celebrations, cooking up chavapi and what you're not. But we will also have exclusive behind-the-scenes footage of the inner sanctum from the weekend coming up in Bendigo. Jason, we'll be organising something for that, no doubt. But all our supporters will be able to tune into next week's episode of DinamoTV, and you'll be able to see some hopefully some tasteful footage of what happens on the weekend away, when a lot will be discussed, a lot will be strategies will be concocted and what you're not. But it should be an exciting time. But let's put the future aside just for now. Let's talk about your 10 years at the club, mate. It's an incredible achievement. As Danny Utrich in the comments says, Jason XERRI, all class, and tend to agree with him on that matter. Mate, what have been some of your highlights over the last decade at Churchill Reserve?
Oh, look, I guess there's been many highlights, and I guess being promoted, a couple of times and winning championships and winning the Crow Tourneys have been, quite a highlight for me, and obviously the club itself, and being part of that has been wonderful. You're not somewhere for 10 years if you don't like where you are, and it's an amazing club. I've been fortunate enough to work through the years, at some really good clubs, and all of them have really been at NPL level or VPL level, the highest you can get in Victoria. And Dinamo's got my heart, and just great people. And there's been, there's transitions in the committee from year to year. You get new people, and every couple of seasons, but it just seems to be seamless. Just I guess the club's philosophy around being a community-based club and embracing that, and being serious about their football is probably something that doesn't happen everywhere. The club's always been quite realistic. But look, really enjoyed it. They're probably the highlights. There's always been challenges, and that's probably what I love about Dinamo. It's we are always considered to be the battlers and trying to survive and trying to do this and trying to do that. But I think we've gone past that point now where we're looking forward to be better than just battlers. And I'm hoping by the time my time comes to leave that we're in a good place. And I certainly think not just with my contribution, but the contribution of the club itself. And we've got great president Amelia and Johnny Bilos, vice president, and the rest of the committee, and Michael Pete, who does a tremendous amount of work at the club. The club's in really good hands, and I can only do that. I can only do my job well with the support of those other people, and that's every year's a highlight, because every year there's something new.
Yeah. Has there been any change in the score there? 1-0 down at the moment, and it seems like a very gusty wind. The way you're all rugged up.
No, mate, it is. It's look, we're kicking to the lake end of the ground, and we're defending the lake end of the ground, and I've come here many a time over the years, but I've never seen it this windy. So, but no, look, the boys are doing well. They've kept position pretty well for most part. Unfortunately, just ball played over the top that just got past us, and they got in between. But look, it's an experimental kind of side this half, and I'm sure Guff and Donners will change things at half time and bring some other faces in just to see how it all goes.
Fantastic, mate. We're going to leave you there. Thank you very much for joining us. And summer in Melbourne. As you can see, you've got that winter coat on. It can only happen in Victoria, that's for sure. But, mate, thank you once again, Jason, for joining us here on the inaugural episode of DinamoTV.
Lovely. Great to be on, mate, and great to have you on board with the team as well, Tonchi.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Jason XERRI, the football operations manager at Dinamo, who's now clocked up, or is about to clock up 10 years. Folks, don't go away. We're gonna return. We're hoping to have Adam Portage on tonight, but it doesn't look like he's been able to make it. He's the CEO and the founder of the Magic Group. But if he can't get a hold of him, we will wrap things up very, very shortly. Don't go away. Well, folks, that brings us to the end of our very, very first episode of DinamoTV. It has been an absolute pleasure being with you. And remember, we will be with you every Thursday night now from here until the end of the year, and certainly until the tournament at 8 p.m. So do spread the word. Make sure you share it on your social media platforms, on your various channels, and really spread the word out. DinamoTV has arrived, and DinamoTV is here to stay. My name is Tonchi Prusats, and it's been an absolute pleasure being with you here tonight. I look forward to your company next Thursday night at 8 p.m. Good night. Mismo Dinamo.